has described himself in many ways. But if we concentrate on man in relation to his control over his environment, no description is more apt than the description of man as a tool-making animal. And in the short history of mankind, the majority of the tools which man has made can be thought of as an extension of his muscle power. That is, the ability to perform work faster and in greater quantity. However, in the mid-1940s of the 20th century, a different kind of tool was invented. A tool for extending certain of the powers of man's mind. This tool is the electronic computer.
So, here are my questions, and yours. To what new horizons can we look now? Where are tomorrow's opportunities? What's ahead in America for you, for your children? It is not a difficult assignment to answer these questions. The frontiers of the future are not on any map. They are in the minds of men.
So my name is Stacy DeSimone. I'm the general manager for BSU Dining Services.
And how did you get introduced to the robots? Like, how did you get involved?
So the company I work for, Sodexo, actually has a partnership with Starship Technologies. And when we were bidding for the contract here at Bridgewater State University, we knew that one of Bridgewater's biggest pieces that they were looking for is innovation and technology. So it was our job to go out and seek a partnership with a company that could bring that through food. So we extended our partnership with Starship. They are already at 2 other campuses that Sodexo manages the food service for. So we then began conversations with them to bring the robots here to Bridgewater.
So Starship is a robotics company which recently decided to focus on campus food deliveries. Before that, they were doing some deliveries for companies as well as towns in Europe. The research and development is done over in Estonia, although we do have a hub here in California, in the US as well. I think the goal of the company was to put a service somewhere where there previously wasn't. So, just like you might have Grubhub here offering, for pickup, but there's no actual deliveries offered. This is kind of where we come in, and we can take that 20-minute walk, across campus in the cold or in the rain or anything like that, and just deliver your food right to your door. Right now, Starship is ahead of the group, ahead of the game. We've already done over 1 million deliveries already as a company, which is great. I think they said they traveled over 3 million kilometers as well, which is pretty intense. So lots of big milestones we've already hit, and we're only just starting.
And then the app itself is pretty self-explainable. It's like any other traditional app.
Here's your Food robots? I have mixed feelings, I suppose. Actually, no, I don't really have mixed feelings. I don't like them.
I really think they're pretty cool. You know, it's something new, it's something different. First of all, they're so cute, right?
Yeah.
So you'd like automatically want to like, you know, hey, what's going on?
I was kind of weirded out. They remind me of like the, you know, in the grocery store, that big robot guy. They remind me of those. I don't know. I mean, I think they had good intentions, but I don't know.
I think they're amazing. I think that when we first got them, I was enthralled with them. You know, they were just riding around campus, and I was like, what are these things? They are just, you know, I felt they're so futuristic.
I think the robots are great because, for example, some people might be like in class, and if you have 2 or 3 classes back to back and you can't get out of your room or your res hall, can't get to the dining halls, you just make an order, they'll show up right to your door, super easy and convenient.
Personally, I think they were a good idea, but I think someone could have just like had that job and done the same thing.
I would think part of the reason why some people maybe get angry is because they think maybe it's replacing or instead of a human, and that's actually not the case. We actually have hired 4 people already. So for every robot that there is, there's a human behind it. The human may not necessarily be here on Bridgewater campus. They could be anywhere in the world pretty much. However, we hired 4 here on campus, and we're going to hire more as the university comes back to a larger capacity because we're going to bring more robots to campus.
Well, I mean, it is something new. So I feel like everyone has that first reaction, you know, to something new. So all I can hope is that, you know, the people that don't like them at first, you know, learn to like them, you know, especially when it's a snowy day out, a rainy day out, and then they realize, you know what, you know, this is a good thing to have here.
Because you see, like these in themselves, they have cameras attached to them, there's cameras on them. That in itself could be a concern, because who knows what they could be used for something else. My personal belief is that they're currently not, but you know, even you see it on certain street lights or street posts or stoplights, there's cameras, little cameras attached to everything. I think our privacy is definitely compromised in this society.
One of the things I see is like when people used to have to get a couple of steps in to like go to Bears, now they can just like sit in their dorm. Or I guess they still have to go down the stairs to get to the food. The robot doesn't go inside, but like lack of exercise for people who don't want it. Even it's a mile walk. It's a decent walk, half a mile each way. That's a good amount of steps. So people are losing out on those. I don't see them being extremely useful. Again, why couldn't we just like have if what we're saying is what we're saying, why couldn't we just have like a socially distanced line of kids still having to go to the thing? And I mean, people could still talk to each other, see each other, like social interaction, all that fun stuff.
Do you think that the robots are here because of COVID?
Yeah, that's one reason we got them, I assume. I mean, I don't think if coronavirus didn't happen, I don't think we would have had food delivery robots ever. It'd be a waste of money.
Do you think that we got the delivery robots because of COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that the reason?
You know, we planned this prior to anyone knowing about COVID.
The company itself started doing these deliveries to campuses in 2019, so they've already had the model down before there was any necessity for it. So, you know, it's a common misconception for sure that this was done purely because of COVID. But believe it or not, I think COVID actually, in some ways it was good, some ways it wasn't as good. Obviously there's less students on campus as well, so maybe less need for that. However, for the students that are on campus, it's obviously a very welcome way to receive your food without having to worry about an additional person, you know, touching your food, delivering it, and that sort of thing. And you know, even after COVID, I think the need is still going to be there.
Let me show you something. This is the latest dispatch just received in our newsroom. These things do happen.
And you
have no objections to working on weekends.
If I were surrounded by 6 or 8 of these things, would I stand a chance with them?
You think this will become a normal sight you see outside of the use of cannabis? Now that the genie's outside of the bottle.
Like if you could just order the food and it would be a vehicle that brings it to you. I mean, that's definitely going to happen. I don't think that's not going to happen. So I do 100% see it expanding outside of the BSU community. I'm sure it already has in other places. I think like robots in general obviously are like a big deal, other than food robots or delivery robots. There's going to be a lot of robots moving forward. I mean, we were talking earlier about like the lack of evolution in the human brain in the past 100, not 100 million years. It's been a couple of million years or a couple of 100,000 years. It's been a long damn time. You see the evolution of, we have the Industrial Revolution in what, 1800s, I think. I'm not sure. Used to be a history buff, but I'm not anymore. But from then to now, we have self-driving cars.
You know, you think about even just 10 years ago, it was still kind of, it was still kind of unique to have like grocery delivery, like a Peapod or something like that. Where now, you not only do you have Peapod, you have all these others, you have Instacart, you have so many other systems that you can get things delivered to your home or office space.
We do have some, you know, small towns and areas that are actually using it for grocery delivery as well. You know, but that really has to depend on the layout of the town. Some places are better than others.
In the UK, which is where the company is pretty heavily pronounced, they're in the neighborhoods. They deliver a lot of things other than food.
For example, Milton Keynes in the UK, they have about 140 robots there. It's a small town. Crosses many miles as well, and they have multiple vendors. They do mostly grocery delivery there. So, you know, that is a possibility in some areas. However, you know, in Europe, you know, sometimes their sidewalks are a little bit better to get around. Some of the houses are closer together. It just depends on the location. But I do think that there's still always going to be a need for a delivery driver. Now, this is because if you get a delivery from 3 miles away and, you know, you need to take the highway and that sort of thing, obviously a robot is not going to be needed for that.
I think humans are still a superior like machine. Like I think the brain is honestly the ultimate computer, and it always will be. Like speed wise, no, but like creativity wise, like those robots or that technology wouldn't be here if we weren't. Is that why we're here? I don't think so, but it seems to be a large theme. I don't feel like that's why I'm here, but if you look at us like as society, I think that's the way it's going. We're here to make things, improve upon them, and like less and less you see like a large swaths of the population not even thinking about improving themselves the next day rather than going to work and improving what they're working on. And I think that's scary.
And so right now you don't think that they're superior to us, but do you have any fears of the future role of artificial intelligence or robots and maybe them surpassing us in some way?
No, because I look at it this way, the robots can't think of it on their own. It's a human that had to put that knowledge into them, right? So if we don't want them to know something, then don't put it in there. That's the way I think about it, right?
Easy as that.
I think if we take it too far, and if they start really, like, this is inhibiting our social interaction a little bit, so if it continues and where it's at a place that people aren't socializing enough as they should be, then I think it could be problem. I think it could be a problem, yeah.
Yeah. If it like progresses, like right now I feel like there's not like enough, but if it more and more of it happens, yeah.
I don't. I think that robots are out of necessity. You know, we wouldn't be developing them, I think, if it wasn't necessary. There are just, you know, some jobs that a robot can do, maybe that, you know, humans maybe wouldn't want to do. For those of us, in the know, in the company and that sort of thing, it's common for us to kind of have our eyes out for what's going on around us. And, for people that aren't necessarily keen to that, you might miss a lot of that news, but it's all happening very, very quickly, even quicker than I think some people would realize. So I do think that when we're older, you're going to see a lot of things that you wouldn't necessarily have imagined,
I think artificial intelligence is really useful in our society. It's really useful. I think it has its potentials to create something bigger than what we anticipated. It's all about maintaining a good balance of how we use technology. We want to benefit and improve society, but we also want to accommodate for the people in society, because without the people, what's else for? So.
Yes and no. You got guys, some of the smartest guys on the planet, like Elon Musk, that are like, don't stop now, shut it down, for a million different reasons. Because, not that they can outthink us, but they could definitely outpower us. We've all seen the Terminator. Am I scared of them? No. I think the human organism, along with nature in general, has an immaculate ability to persevere. Look at the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs were the baddest MFers that were ever created. 65 million years ago, they got wiped out, and it's not like nature put itself back together in such a way that it needed to make those again. It found a way to make us, and I think we are better than the dinosaurs. Would a T-Rex whoop me in a fight? Absolutely. But if you ever seen Land of the Lost, they're not that bright. That's a tangent. But no, I'm not scared. But at the same time, there's people who know a lot more about this than I do, and they are not even scared, but way more cautious, which they probably should be. We've seen a million different times in the past how moving too fast on one thing or the other has led to an undesired consequence. And I think that humans should be weary. I think that I'm really not scared, because again, the innate power of nature is mind-boggling. I can't really put words to it. But at the same time, if there's no nature left, when the dinosaurs got wiped out, them and 80% of species were wiped out. But what happens if 98% of species are wiped out and there's nothing left to live off of and recover?